So I've been shooting commercials for over 4 years now, honing my craft and becoming better in improvising difficult shots with a bunch of ingenuity instead of gear overkill. Thinking indie, producing major. But sometimes it gets much easier when you have the right gear for the right job. So in this video we'll be going over all the definitive gear that you need for creating 90% of your product commercial ideas, and then probably we'll even talk about the other 10% as well. Right now is the perfect time for getting into the commercial field. Social media is actually king and everyone watches content everywhere all the time. Let's begin by going over the basics and then switch to some specialty things that you should have in your arsenal to create those one-of-a-kind shots. Recently I upgraded to the red Komodo to get the best image possible, but before that I used to shoot on the Sony FX30, which costs 1/4 the price of the Komodo. Maybe you haven't realized yet, we're talking cameras first. The FX30 produces stunning images, especially when paired with a great set of lenses. If I had to choose, I would still go for the Sony FX30 for social media commercials for a few reasons. First, well, it's the image quality, and, well, the size and the versatility are all the other reasons. And I don't know how many times I've said this before, if you need autofocus for anything in your commercials, Sony is the camera to go. This is so reliably that I can shoot without extra focus puller or anything else attached to the camera. This is essential for moving shots when you are a solo filmmaker. Next up, lenses. And as so many others, I mostly use one lens for all the shots I need. In this case, the classic Sigma 18-35 f1.8. It's, as said many times before, the best lens for super sharp images with the best price to performance ratio I've ever seen in a lens. And if you get it used in good condition, this thing slaps even more. I mostly use this on the red Komodo as a super versatile lens. The other type of lenses I'm using are macro lenses. In that case, one, to get even closer and finer details of the products you're shooting. Macro lenses can produce stunning details, and up until a week ago I was still using my old and trusty Pergear macro lens. But since then I now upgraded to a complete IRIX Cine lens set, which also includes a macro lens that I ordered yesterday. This should arrive sometime next week, a detailed review will follow soon. Now enough about the recording stuff, let's get into the things that are way more fun. In that case, spinny things. There are multiple possible variations available, and I'll show you 3 of them right now that I have right here, ranging from budget friendliest to the most expensive. Let's start with the one you're probably most familiar with. This right here is called a Lazy Susan, or an electric turntable. It's mostly used for rotating products in window displays in shops, but it can be used for our purposes as well. Turn it on and it begins spinning slowly, indefinitely. This allows you to get all kinds of different spinning shots, and the combinations are actually endless. But the problem is you don't have much control about the device itself, but on the other side it's very, very affordable. Then there are manual spinning devices, such as this one right here, which is a 360-degree rotating device by a company called Raubay. And in this case it's their light version that is designed exactly for product shots and movement around objects. I had this for roughly 4 weeks or so now, and it's fun experimenting with it. A detailed review on this will follow soon, of course. When you watch this in the future, well, here in the upper corner there could be a link to a review video. Now what can this thing actually do? You're not actually spinning the product itself, but the camera around the object. So it is possible to do very crazy movements with lots of different perspectives. Or you can kill the background and create pre-planned VFX shots with Bluescreen added so that it becomes easier to actually key out your objects. And then lastly, this right here is my own modded version of the Edelkrone PAN PRO with an added wooden blade on top. The PAN PRO is a precision motor-driven device that is fully integrated into the Edelkrone motion setup, which I actually own and haven't actually done a review on it yet. I think this will also happen sometime in the near future. This device is able to rotate up to 20 kilos at once, giving you the ability to make precise camera movements with start and end points in combination with all the other Edelkrone gear in sync, so you don't have to shoot everything 20 times until it fits. One time in that case is enough. This also allows you to attach handles and stands to it so that you can actually create different unique spinning and rotating angles at the same time. It's very much expensive, but a great investment in your business and a very, very, very good time saver. Next up, you need something for your products to stand on top of your rotating device of your choice. The easiest and therefore most versatile variant is a drill chuck in my opinion. It's heavy and it has a good stand and therefore lets you place in, well, some skewers or something. You clamp them down and then you can put lots of stuff onto it. it. The great thing is the easiness of removing the skewers in post, either through wire removal tools or in After Effects or with some preparation beforehand, aka you wrap it in blue tape and then some keying to make it disappear. Or you make it even easier and you film a separate plate of your background and then slap it onto to make it almost invisible in no time. Now that we have actually finished with spinners, it's time for the other shots that you can actually do. And in this case, you need a base to put your camera onto. So we're talking tripods. I prefer the smaller but still steady variant. In this case, I actually own two of the Manfrotto 190X carbon fiber tripod legs. These have a few things that I really like, such as the ease of use when it comes to adjusting the height of the tripod, as well as the possibility to shoot in an ultra low mode as well. I mostly use this for my Edelkrone gear, either one for the chip and one for the slider, but occasionally I only use the legs in combination with a simple tripod head to get some interesting moving shots and different angles. Next up, and arguably the most important category when it comes to commercial shooting, is lighting. Most of beginner filmmakers always neglect lighting, even though this is the thing that makes or breaks your commercial in the end. And it is not often that I say, well, the more the better. And in this case, yeah, we're talking about I added the most gear into my arsenal over the last year, lighting. Let's begin with my standard lights. I've added two higher power lights recently, which are the Colbor CL220, a 250 watt bicolor light. If you're interested, here's a link to a review of the light, as well as its bigger brother, the CL330, a 350 watt bicolor light. These two give me enough light to create beautiful coves on almost all products I want to shoot, creating a stronger key light on one side and a bit less on the other. It's fantastic, and these are still budget options, so go for them. If you want a smaller light, there's also, or if you can't afford a bigger light, there's also the 150 watt variants, either by Godox or any other manufacturer. I have the SL150 Mark II, which I can recommend, as well as the budget variant, the Litemons 150, which is actually lighting me right now. Great lights overall, they are highly recommended. If you want to splash some color onto it, you need to add either a colored backdrop or you can add some LED tubes in a mix. I went for the LED tubes, and in this case the Aputure Infinibars, Aputure's newest tube light variant, which can be stacked together to create long streaks of lights in different shapes, as well as pixel movement and many more things. This one right here is an Infinibar. These are very expensive, but they are highly customizable, so these are more for the people who already make a lot of money with their commercials. And of course, also, I haven't made a review of these products yet, I don't know why. This will also come in the near future, maybe there's a link. If you need something cheaper, you can always go for a cheaper tube light variant such as the Godox TR60, or well, these one right here in the background also. They are called mood lights, which are $50 each. I have 5 of them. They also have pixel movement, but they are cumbersome to use. More on that when I find time to actually create a review for them as well. Jesus. To add some highlights or rim lights to your product, a small light such as a 60 watt light would be great as well. I'm using the Aputure 60D right now, it's hanging up there, but the classic Godox SL60W is also fine and it's very cheap. Now, lights are great, but you always need to add some kind of diffusion to it, such as a soft light or a shaper or a flag or a scrim and so on. In the couple of years of me doing this, I actually find the best standard diffusion lights to still be a great cheap alternative, so I would recommend 1 or 2 of those in different sizes, such as a 65 or a 90 centimeter dome. Dome, you know, the round shape. They are super fast in its setup times, and they are a good and cheap alternative to bigger flags. If you want to go more for variety than actually the domes, you can always buy a pair of flags to have more control over your lights. You can either get them each separately according to your needs, such as I did with a double diffusion Scrim, that's the yellow one, which tones the light down 2 stops, and one black flag that actually cuts off the lights completely. Or you could actually just go for a flag set with 5 different available flags in all shapes and forms, such as actually this one here from Godox for roughly 300 euros or so. What I haven't mentioned yet is movement in product commercials. This is super helpful in keeping the audience glued to their screens. This can be achieved with different techniques, but in this video I want to briefly talk about, well, the easiest one of that, sliders. Right here I have the Edelkrone Slider Plus V5 Compact, which in itself is a great slider, especially for product shots, since actually this can be automated and stacked upon with even more accessories on top. But it can also be used handheld without a motor module, with another pack. It's super versatile, but also in terms of costs, on the really pricey side. Therefore, recommending this thing is quite hard, especially to somebody at the beginning of its commercial journey. So going for a manual slider or a cheaper automated slider at the beginning, in my case and in your case probably, is and was a better recommendation. And therefore a slider such as, let's say, the newer slider right here, which has a long slide range of 80 centimeters at the beginning, is optimal. Or you could go for a cheaper automated one like the YC Onion chocolate slider that I have right here. There are also 2 review videos available for both products. If you'd like to take a closer look at them, I've linked them in the description below. Lastly on my list is backdrops. This is something you need for creating either pockets to cut your products from, so black or another color, or to let them actually sink in if it's the same color. What I mean by that is the following. Get yourself a paper backdrop in, let's say, 2 colors minimum. My options would be a black variant. This always looks good with most products. If your product will fly in an infinite black space. Therefore, this is actually making it easier to create a commercial without much keying. Or if you'd like, either a blue or green screen for keying your product and putting it somewhere else on another background. Or if you'd like, there is also the even more modern version of this method. Get yourself a super high resolution 120Hz mini LED TV and use this one as your blue green screen, or just add your background altogether, making it even easier in the end. I have a video all about using a TV as your background. Well, here's a link in the description. So much for all the things you need, in my opinion, to create awesome commercials. Of course, you don't need to get all of that at the same time. I bought all of my gear over the last 5 years, step by step, upgrading when I thought I needed something better, making money with the commercials to upgrade even more. This video is there to show you a list of what you should consider building up to in terms of getting better and better with each video you make actually in the future. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you actually get inspired. Feel free to let me know your opinion on if gear matters to you, or if gear is actually not that interesting. But then I guess you wouldn't have actually seen the video. Yeah, so weird one. Please go down in the comment section below. As always, my name is Leech and I'm off writing the next scripts. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. There are plenty more of this type of content and of course many other things available for you to watch, and hopefully reviews of all the products that I actually mentioned in this video soon. Have a great day, see you around, and goodbye.